Hey, hey, welcome in. If you're with me live right now, drop a wave into the comments. And if you are catching the replay, well, welcome to. Tell me where you're from. Tell me when does school start or did it start for your kids? So it is that time of year, that stretch where summer is technically still happening, but you can feel it, the shift. The school supply lists are out, the backpacks are getting pulled out of the closet. Somewhere in the back of your mind is a little voice that is going, "Oh, how many days, how many weeks left?" And today I want to talk to you about how to make that shift from summer mode into school mode feel less like a car crash uh, and more like smooth sailing into the new year. Because here's the thing, most families don't struggle with the back to school because the kids can't handle school. They struggle because the transition itself is so jarring. One week it's popsicles and no bedtime, and the next week it's alarm clocks and lunch boxes, and everybody's nervous system is just like, wait, what happened? And I don't want to put this all on the kids by any mean. Even not having kids in my home anymore, I still feel this kind of shift from that summer energy where I allow myself some more expansiveness. I go and I get some ice cream cones and walk down the sidewalk on a summer's night, back into more of a like, what am I driving? What am I going? Where are my goals kind of feeling? So, totally natural that our nervous system doesn't have the same kind of preparation that our mind does. And so our bodies are really just kind of going like, hey, what? Wait. So we're going to talk through 6 practical shifts that you can start making right now if school hasn't actually started, so that when school does actually start, it feels more like just a step into the new year and not falling off a cliff. Drop me a comment. Let me know how many weeks until your kids go back. Now, I know that here where I am in Monterey, in California, it's done. It's happened. Uh, Kids have started back at school. And yet, at the same time, because it's Monterey, we've got the Car Week going on the Monterey Peninsula. And so there's still a lot of other activity and stuff that's kind of happening. Okay, so um, kids like structure fundamentally. They just don't like it going on like a toggle switch, right? So they didn't want to go from, sleep till 10, have cookies for breakfast, watch a show, watch another show, to like, boom, you're up, you're out the door by 7:15. That's not a transition. That's whiplash. And whiplash produces meltdowns and foot dragging and arguing about nothing at all, tears at the bus stop, and a whole lot of frustrated parents wondering what happened to their kid. So the fix is not waiting until the night before school starts and hoping for the best. We want to get that soft landing, that gradual runway where the shift in routines is happening a little bit at a time. So by the time that day one actually arrives, your kid's body and brain are halfway there. Number one, start reining in the bedtime. This is usually the loosest thing about summer, and for good reasons. The light stays out late. We've got long days. Why not stay up late? Take advantage of everything that summer has to offer. But bedtime is the anchor for the whole next day. So if bedtime doesn't shift, nothing else is going to shift easily. However many days you have left between now and the time school starts, take that number of days and divide it by 15 minutes a time. See how from the bedtime where you are now to the bedtime where you need to get, see how many minutes it is, divide the number of days into it. Hopefully, it's about 15 minutes. Because it's pretty easy to shift bedtime 15 minutes earlier every day. And so if you've got another week or even 2 weeks to do that, by the time the first day hits, now it's not you're cracking down, it's bedtime. That's already there, that's already in place. And it's not about, you know, just getting into school mode for the sake of it. Really frame them as like, we need to start getting our bodies ready for school. We need to get our clocks, our biological clocks onto the new school calendar. And um, you know, and that's true for mom and dad too, right? It's hard for us to, I mean, I may still get up early in the morning, but we all know that getting up early when you're on your own and their kids aren't up for a long time feels super different than getting up early and knowing that any second now your kids are going to crash into the room. Okay. We also then also want to begin to pull back the rise times, right? That makes sense. If bedtime creeps earlier, but your kid is still sleeping to 9:30, you haven't actually shifted the day, you've just shortened it. And while some of that may be appropriate if they've been getting too little sleep, um, so again, same principle, gradual, not sudden, move up the wake time in small little chunks, ideally paired with something that's going on, like Saturday, Sunday can still feel like Saturday, Sunday. Like we kind of want to get them into that weekday, weekend rhythm, uh, but just bring in the parameters so it's not so much. One of the hardest things is the actual getting dressed, getting out the door. So see if you can plan some early morning activities to practice that, to practice the morning routine, not just the sleep schedule, but the whole choreography of all the little pieces that have to be coordinated to get out the door. Because here's the truth. The first week of school isn't hard because kids can't wake up. Usually their excitement brings that on its own. It's hard because of the morning routine. It's it's the checklist. Get dressed, eat breakfast, brush your teeth, find your shoes, get the backpack, get out the car, get to the bus stop in time, right? It's the whole sequence that your kid hasn't had to do for 2.5 months. And even if they were doing it for uh, summer school or for summer camps, uh, everything feels a little less weighted, right? Like you show up at camp, you don't have what you need. It feels like less big of a deal than you did all your homework, but now you don't have it to turn in. That feels really hard. And those get up and get out and get going skills, they get rusty. So we need to, need to brush off the rust. Okay, so the last week or two before school, pick some mornings, do a full dry run, have somewhere to go. Maybe get their haircuts, or maybe say you want to be, you want to be at the store right when it opens to get the good back to school deals, or that you want to be, you want access to the dressing rooms when nobody else is there. Find an excuse, but kind of have the plan and get packed up and walk out the door. Destination almost doesn't matter. It's more that rhythm of we have a time when we want to get out the door by, and we have to stay a little focused with that. And those practice runs, you could have some fun with it. You could time it. You could make it a game. You could say, okay, did we beat yesterday's time? Again, when there's no real stakes, it can feel more like a game, but you're still training your body to do it. Here's another piece that I want you to think about when we're thinking about that back to school shopping. This isn't really about just the shopping trip, and it's not just about the checking it off the list. It's about ownership. It's a place where you can give your kids some control. One of the best tools I know for building a kid's sense of capability is giving them real decisions inside real limits. So instead of you deciding what the list needs to be and picking everything, consider giving your kids, I would say sixth grade and up for sure, but even younger, if you really spend some time talking about it, a clothing allowance, a set amount that they get to decide how to spend. And that may mean that they're going to buy 3 cheap shirts instead of 1 expensive one, and those shirts may fall quicker, and you may have to teach them how to get out a needle and how to sew up the hole underneath the armpit. And that's okay, because how are they going to learn the value of things if they don't have the experience of making the choice and then experiencing the consequence? So that's an excellent place to start giving them some control. Now, obviously, if your kids wear a uniform, uh, you've got less flexibility there. So maybe it's not a clothing allowance, maybe it's a supplies allowance, and they're making some decisions about uh, folders and covers and binders and backpacks, maybe. All right. Yeah, and if you've been using a clothing allowance for a while, would you put that in the chat too, and let me know how it goes? Because I'm sure other parents would want to know how it went for your family. All right. The fifth thing that I really want you to work out before school starts, and if school has started, that's okay. It's the beginning of the year. This one is for you, and that is a tech agreement, a technology contract. If you've got screen time agreements in your house, and if you don't, let's talk about how to do that. Your summer and school version probably look really different, and they should not be the same, right? Summer tech rules are usually looser, longer gaming sessions, later scrolling at night, more flexibility because there's less on the calendar. But a summer tech contract that drags into the school year is a recipe for conflict and for homework getting shoved aside and for bedtime being blown up with just 5 more minutes. So before school starts, sit down with your kids and really with them, don't you just work out the rules, really have the conversation and say, what does screen time look like? How does it feel different during the school year? How do we protect our sleep and our bodies, get our requirements and our responsibilities met, and still have some time for relaxing and enjoying our screens? If you are not having kids charge their devices outside their bedrooms, that is a recommendation that comes up from the experts over and over and over as making a super big difference in lowering the amount of arguments you're going to have and also protecting your kids' sleep. Okay, so we want you to come together. We want to co-create the rules. I would totally build in some wild cards, some crazy days. Maybe you look at the school calendar and you see a day when the kids have a minimum day. Put on the calendar, put into the agreement. From noon until you have to go to soccer at 3:30, you can be on your screen on that minimum day. Give them something to look forward to where it really has a little bit of that taste of summer. Okay, if school hasn't started, please take the time to tour school if you can, especially if it's new to your child. Reach out to your teacher before the first day, even if it's just to say hello and, this is what I know of my kid. I'm looking forward to hearing what you learn about my kid. Is there anything I can do to help you? Right? I will tell you that by the time I stopped teaching, we had garbage pickup every other day and, full vacuuming and dusting one day a week. My classroom was disgusting. It was dirty. The nicest thing that any parent could have done for me, and some of them did, was to get a dust rag and you have to bring a bottle of spray water, because as soon as you put any kind of cleaner or chemical into it, then it has to be approved. But just water, bring a bottle of spray water and some dust rags and come clean your classroom. Come help your teacher with their classroom. That is an awesome way for your kids to volunteer and to get in good with their teacher right from the beginning. And that's going to help your kids feel safer stepping into the unknown of the school year if they already have spent some time in the classroom, they've contributed to the classroom, they've already had a little bit of time with their teachers. So walk up and down the halls, look in the windows, talk to absolutely any adult on campus that you run into. Remind, have your kid, yeah, I'm Joey. I'm going into fourth grade this year. That sense of connection does a lot to quiet those butterflies, those first day butterflies and jitters. And by the way, don't worry about first day butterflies and jitters. I had them every single year as a teacher. I would be terrified. Like, oh my gosh, I have a whole new set of kids this year. Who are the kids I'm going to get? Is this going to be the year that they find out that I'm not really a good teacher, that I'm a fraud, that I can't do things? Right? All my insecurities would come up just before school started. And then we'd get into the year and I would feel much better. Okay. So I think we've mentioned 6 things. Let's see if I can remember them. Bedtime, pull it back gradually. Getting up time, pull it back gradually. Practice that morning routine. Practice having to get out the door by a specific time a couple of times before you have to do it. Consider a clothing allowance or some other kind of allowance to give them control, to give them choice, to give them the opportunity of learning the value of, 3 cheap shirts versus 1 expensive shirt. How does that feel? How's that going to play out during the year? Okay, that's 4. Let's see if I can remember my other ones. Tech contract, 100% sure. Make sure you've got a tech agreement in place. Write it down. Have everybody sign it. And then, spend time at school. Yeah, find some time, walk the halls, walk the route to school. By the way, one bonus tip for when you get into your school year. And this is also something that you could practice before. Instead of going all the way to the school and going through the school line and doing that whole drop off, consider dropping your child off a block or 2 or 3 away from the school, giving them a little bit of walk time. Ideally, your kids are walking to school. If you live in a neighborhood, you're walking with them or you're scootering. But I know that a lot of us are dropping our kid and trying to get to work ourselves. So instead of waiting in line at school, dropping them a block or 2 or 3 or 4 ahead of time gives them a little bit of walk, which is good. That gets their blood going. But it also gives them a chance to be independent, a chance to not be absolutely supervised. I don't know about you. When I was little, we could ride our bikes to school starting 2nd grade. So kindergarten first, or maybe it was 3rd grade. I think kinder first and second, we took the bus to school. We still had school buses, but starting in 3rd grade, you could walk or ride your bike to school by yourself. And kids have been doing that for a really long time. So if you're super uncomfortable, make it 1 block and then stretch your level of discomfort by expanding how far they can go on their own. Okay, I'm super excited for your new school year. This is always a really exciting, wonderful time of year. It's a great time to give kids space to step into something new and something different. So I'm 100% there for you. And if there's anything in setting up systems and routines to help your house run more smoothly that I can be of help, please reach out. I do a complimentary getting to know you call, and I teach ongoing classes, and I do a lot of one-on-one coaching, and it can be a short-term coaching relationship, or it can be a longer coaching package.